At the bottom of page 5, there is a box in which we're going to write down our observations about the expansion of x plus y raised to the nth power. So, first of all, if you are expanding this quantity, how many terms end up in the expansion? Okay, well, let's go up to the one we just did in example 3, where we were expanding x plus y raised to the 6th power. Okay, so the n value here would be 6. Okay, in our expansion, which is written here in black, let's count the number of terms. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if the power on the binomial is n, once you do the expansion, there are going to be n plus 1 many terms in the expansion. Okay, so you just add 1 to the degree there. Okay, and then we know that when we do the expansion, the first term is going to be x to the nth power. The last term is going to be y to the nth power. Okay, it's always the first term raised to the power and then the last term raised to the power. And then we know in each succeeding term, the exponent on x decreases by 1 and the exponent on y increases by 1. When you sum the exponents on x and y in any term, you're going to get n. And then this last one's a little mathy. The coefficient on the term with x raised to the r power times y raised to the n minus r power, or x raised to the n minus r power times y to the r power is going to be this binomial coefficient. Remember, each binomial coefficient, the top number is going to be n. Okay, the bottom number here is going to be r. Okay, let's do some more practice. Okay, we'll do a couple of simple examples and then we'll jump into sort of the more complicated ones. Okay, so in example 4, it says write the binomial expansion of x plus y raised to the 8th power. Okay, I like starting with my x's. Okay, so I know that I'm going to have, my first term is going to have x to the 8th, and then I'm going to descend powers here. Okay, so x to the 7th, x to the 6th, x to the 5th, x to the 4th, x to the 3rd, x squared. Eventually I'll get to x. Okay, then I'm going to come back and deal with my y's. So the first term will not have a y. The y's will start in the second term, so we'll have y to the first, and then with each subsequent term, we are increasing the power on y by 1. Okay, and our last term will be y to the 8th. Okay, so then we've got to come back and deal with our binomial coefficients. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set those guys up. Whoops. And then remember, another thing I need to do, since we're adding here, okay, all these terms are going to be positive. Okay, so I need to come back and put plus signs. I'm adding all the terms here. Okay, so here are the binomial coefficients. The top number in each one is going to be the degree here, which is 8. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. All right, and then the bottom number, okay, we always start with 0, okay, and then they increase by 1 until we get to the last binomial coefficient, which should coincide with the degree, the power that the binomial is being raised to. So that's 8 here. Okay, and again, like I said, I need to put plus signs. And this is the setup for this binomial expansion. Okay, so now all I need to do is go to my calculator and compute my binomial coefficients, and then I will be done. Okay, so you can go to the calculator. Okay, we have 8, choose 0 to start. Okay, so that's going to give you 1. Okay, so you can pop these in, and remember there's going to be some symmetry here. So let's see here. Here's the next one, and then the next one. All right, so these are easily calculated on the calculator. Soon we should start getting some repetition here. May happen right now. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Okay, so 70 seems to be the middle, and then we go back to 56. The next one will be 28, and so on. Okay, so let me write these down. Okay, so our first binomial coefficient was 1, then 8, then 28. Okay, so I'm going to write these in black. This is going to be 1, 8, 28 on this one. And then we have 56 and 70. And then they start to repeat. Okay, so this one will be 56, this one will be 28, this will be 8, this will be 1. Okay, so now that we have these binomial coefficients, we can write down our official expansion. Okay, this is going to be 1 times x to the 8th plus 8 times x to the 7th times y plus 28 times x to the 6th times y squared plus 56 times x to the 5th y cubed plus 70 times x to the 4th y to the 4th plus 56 times x cubed y to the 5th plus 28 x squared y to the 6th plus 8 times x times y to the 7th plus 1 times y to the 8th. Okay, here is the expansion of this binomial, and how much easier is this than actually multiplying and doing all the distribution? Okay, so much easier. Okay, let's try one more easy one, and then we'll get into some complicated examples. Okay, so in example 5, we're going to do the binomial expansion of x plus y, that quantity raised to the 9th power. Okay, again, I'm going to start with my x's. I know I'm going to begin with x to the 9th, okay, and then my powers of x will descend by 1. Okay, then I'm going to come back with my y's. This first term will not have a y. It will start in the second term, okay, with just a y. And then our powers of y increase by 1 until we get to the last term, which should be y to the 9th. Okay, so this last term will be just y to the 9th. It won't have any x's. Okay, and then we're going to come back and put our binomial coefficients. Each of these guys will have a 9 in the top. And then to get the bottom number, okay, we will start with the first binomial coefficient. The bottom number will be 0. And then each subsequent term, we're going up by 1. We should end with 9, 9. Okay. There is if you look inside the binomial, okay, we're adding. So all of these terms will be positive. Okay, so we need to add them together. And then you can just go to your calculator and compute the binomial coefficients. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, we are going to start with, let's see here. We are going to start with 9, choose 0. Anytime you choose 0, it should be 1. Okay, and then we'll just keep computing. Okay, and again, remember, at some point we'll reach the middle term and then the coefficients start to repeat. All right, so here we go. We've reached our middle terms. Okay, so now we're going to get the repetition. You can see if we do 9, choose 6, we should get 84 out of this. And yes, we do. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and write down these coefficients. Okay, and then I will have my expansion. Okay, so let's see here. 9 choose 0 is going to be 1. So we're going to have 1, 9, 36, 84. Okay, so I'm going to write these in black. 1, 9, 36, 84. And then this is going to be, let's see, the next one is 126, 126, and then it repeats. Okay, so this one's going to be 126. This one's going to be 126. Then we have the 84, then the 36, the 9, and the 1. Okay, so now we can write down our expansion. Okay, this is going to be 1 times x to the 9th plus 9 times x to the 8th times y plus 36 times x to the 7th times y squared plus 84 times x to the 6th y to the 3rd power plus 126 times x to the 5th times y to the 4th plus 126 times x to the 4th y to the 5th plus 84 x cubed times y to the 6th plus 36 x squared y to the 7th plus 9 times x times y to the 8th plus 1 times y to the 9th. Okay, here is our expansion of this binomial.